Yo, what's going on, comic compadres, and welcome back to Hood Ratville, where I'm your host, because I'm a hood rat, you a hood rat, and what? We all hood rats trying to dig in them dollar bins, trying to find them dream books, trying to find them good investments, and trying to find them books for our collection that we can give to the next generation. But yo, let's get it started, man. So on August 31st, 2021, I posted this book right here of the Marvel Team Up number 103. With Spider-Man and Ant-Man there on the cover. It's the second appearance of Taskmaster. As you can see, this book is jacked up. This book is messed up. I just wanted to put it up because we had a Team Up Tuesday, and Morbius, my boy, tagged me, and I had to, get him back with the book. I didn't think anybody was gonna challenge me and say, "Yo, that book is jacked." But my boy, Ewikmza, it's spelled Ewikmza over on Instagram, my homie. He said, "Yo, man, if it got pressed, it could present a little bit better." So I looked at it and I said, "Yo, challenge accepted." And I will. And I always wanted to do these pressing videos, but I wasn't motivated. But now I'm motivated. I'm trying to make this book more presentable. I'm not going to send it to CGC. I'm just going to make it a little bit more presentable. I would say it's about a 5.0 at its current condition. Can I bump it up to a 7? Maybe a 7.5, maybe an 8.0. Doubt it on the 8.0 because this book is jacked. I actually found it at a flea market. It was bare naked in a long box. And the long box was super old and super damp. It was probably kept in an attic or something that was super damp, and so were all the books. But I decided to buy this book anyway because it was only $1. But some influences that some people that influenced me on how I press, because we all develop our own style. You read a lot of books, you watch a lot of videos, and then you actually develop a style of your own. And the people that influenced me on this is first, I want to say thanks to them, is John over at Bronze and Modern Gods. Reggie Collects, he had a pretty good pressing video, and Economics and Comics, I checked him out. And then I read the book, Comic Book CPR, old school book that all the old schoolers recommend. And that was written by Michael Frederick Sorensen. I will put everybody's links on there in the description that helped me out and taught me my way, taught me my force. And, I developed my own force, my own style. I have my own different color lightsaber in pressing. And I don't want to tell y'all that the way I press is not, it's not the say all. It's just the style that I developed. And I would say, like, out of if you call it, if you would call an aggressive presser from scale 1 to 10, 1 being non-aggressive and 10 being super aggressive, I would be 9 because I'm a super aggressive presser, and I would try and get that book pretty as much as possible. I will use every technique in the book and use chemicals if I need to make that book look shiny clean. Some disclaimers. If you're going to start pressing, like I said, watch all these videos right here in the description, read the book, get a bunch of junk books, quarter books at your LCS, and use those as practice. Don't be starting on 181. Don't be starting on that Iron Man number 9. You know what I'm saying? Like, start off on some books that you can work your way up to. Because the rule on becoming an expert, according to Malcolm Gladwell and Outliers, is a 10,000 hour rule. And if you think about it, that's about, if you live a full life in five years, that's 10,000 hours. So I am by far not an expert. I've been pressing for about 2 years and doing my thing, but I've been getting good results. I've been getting good results. I send books in at about 8 out of 10 books of mine are 9.8. Some are 9.4s, some are 9.6s, but I've gotten a few 9.8s in my life. Enough, way more than I've gotten those lower grades. But let's get into it. That's my story. I want to know your story, and if you have some comments below, comments that you want to make about my pressing, or some additional ideas and additional information and some additional advice, just leave it there in the comments. I always appreciate it. I know the viewers will appreciate too. But let's get this going. Okay. All right, guys, this is my workstation here in my garage that I use to press. I try to stay as organized as possible. You can see that I have this organization shelf with I got my my board and bat, my magazine boards here. I have the paper that I use to put in between my sheets, the pages right here. And then I have some of my books that I need to press. I have a lot of books right here that I still have to press before I submit to CGC. And I am working on that, and I got all my other stuff right here, okay? And then you see I got all my equipment here. I got my light. A lot of people say, hey, that's the wrong iron. Hey man, do you. Use whatever works for you and gets you 9.8s. And that is my pressing machine right there. All right guys, this is my press right here. I actually bought this on Amazon for about $139. It paid itself out plus more when I sold my first slab. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to say buy more expensive presses, but, you know, like I say, do you, man. This press has got me, you know, I would say like 16 out of 20 books, 9.8s that I knew were going to be 9.8s. And, you know, just do you, you know, like I don't really need a fancy press. I just need a press to get me there. And this is actually a really affordable one you can get on Amazon for about, just look for this one, look for that heat press thing, heat press logo, and it's about $139 I think on Amazon. And I also use these metal sheets right here. You can see these metal sheets, I got these over at Home Depot. These actually keep the book flat, so when you press it, you have a flatter book. I use one for the top and I use one for the bottom, okay? Then I use these kind of cooking sheets right here. Just to try to, you know, control some of the heat and keep that book nice and warm. Yeah, I actually keep this, it comes with this rubber part, and a lot of people don't like this rubber, this like kind of rubber platform part, but I keep it in there because it creates a little rise for my press, and I can kind of control a little bit better on the torque I use when I close the clamp. So this is what I use, guys. Like I said, you can find these on Amazon. Just look for that heat press thing right there, a heat press logo. But hey, if you want to buy some of those, you know, clamshells, those expensive ones, or you want to buy those old school ones that work for others, hey, that's cool too, man. Like I said, I put a bunch of different links to different videos that I've used over my pressing career as reference, and you can, you know, you can take people's advice and do you, you know. All that matters is you're getting high grades on your books. If you aren't getting high grades on your books, maybe it's the way you press the books, or maybe it's your press or whatever. You maybe want to change it, but hey man, like I said, this book is this little press here has been giving me 9.8s for a minute now, so I'm gonna stick with it. So let's get it on with it. All right guys, so here is the book, and you can see this book has a lot of issues. Look at that, super wavy. There's some watermarks in there, and I'm not even gonna try and tell y'all that I could take out those watermarks, that stuff. I'm just gonna try to make this book presentable, because I got challenged, you know, like, you know, by my homie, and he was like, it would be a lot more presentable if you pressed it. I'm like, okay, challenge accepted. You can see, look at all, it's kind of grimy. There's a lot of grime over here. That's easy to clean up. I'll show you guys how to do that. You see on those edges right there. Yeah, you can see all that. You guys saw the before pictures already, and you guys will see the after in a few. But yeah, you can see look at the spine. That's not going to be cleaned up. I'm just going to make it look a little bit better. The spine, there's a lot of these color breaking ticks going on in this book. It's a good book to practice on, man. You know, because you can actually, if you do it right, you can take all those waves out and make this thing look super clean. Not super clean, but look really clean compared to what it is now. So you guys see what it is, and this is the book, and let's get to it. So the first thing I like to do is I like to look through the pages, and I like to feel. I have my rag here just in case. I have my little rag just in case there's dirt. I like to actually feel the pages to see if there's actually some dirt on it. And the pages feel, this page feels clean, and you want to look through the whole book anyway to make sure it's clean, and that there's the pages are all there, because it would suck to like you know, go through all the hard work of cleaning and pressing a book and finding out that it's missing a page or missing a stamp, and you submit it to CGC not even knowing, and then it comes back as a purple label, and that would suck.
because I am not trying to send any book. Maybe I'll send like a Hulk 181 without the stamp and get just take the purple label, because I know that book is you know, it's a dream book, and having it slabbed and whatever would be good, but not a book like this, or you know, a book that's not a Hulk 181. I know a lot of people would probably disagree with me, and that's cool. You know, it's all good to disagree, man. We all have our opinions. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you want to get the one with the value stamp. You want, you know, yeah, you know, but I just want one. So, you know, that's my goal. But the interior seems pretty clean. I'm feeling it, and it seems pretty clean. I'm not really putting my hand too hard on it. I'm just kind of like feeling it with my tips of my fingers real slightly. It doesn't feel like it's dirty. There's any dirt here. If there was, see, my fingers are pretty clean. You would notice it. And a lot of people say use gloves. I don't like using gloves, man. You know, when I played football, I never wore gloves. I like to be a running back, and I like to feel the ball, catch the ball in my real fingers, and you know, all that stuff. So I've always been that type of guy. You know, one thing I do suggest is just washing your hands, taking all that oil off your hands. Just, you know, just give your hands a quick 30-second wash, and do that, and that should be satisfactory. But I'm not wearing gloves because I need to feel. You know, I like to feel what I'm doing. But yeah, it looks like the interior pages are all there, and you know, there's nothing missing, and it seems pretty clean. Let's get to cleaning this book. All right, guys, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this book. So I'm not going to clean up this front page because there's a lot of stuff going on here, and you would have to clean, you know, all the letters. And I'm not going to go through that because this is just an example of, I mean, my whole goal is just to make this presentable. I'm not going to submit this thing to CGC. I just got, you know, I got challenged, and, you know, I'm always up for a challenge, and I'm always up to having fun. So this is fun for me. It's actually kind of like a zen zone for me, is to clean and press and books and stuff like that. So I'm going to clean the back because the back is actually easy, and this can give you an actual bump, grade bump if you have a book like this that has a lot of white on the edge of the borders. And if you see this line right here, this is the border, this is the black. We call this a stroke in you know, in terms of like graphic designing. It just gives you a border between, you know, a box and, you know, a white or any other color. So I want to put, I'll take an old you know, magazine board that I've used and I can't be using, and I'll put it right against the border, that stroke, as best possible as I can. And look, all you got is white here, but make sure that there's none of that border, that dark borders on there, because you'll take that off too. So that's, you know, that's important. You want to make sure, because I've done that before and that sucked. You're like, damn, you know, like you made it worse than what it was. But see right there, like perfect. But we got a little border here. All we do is that, and then, you know, we can start cleaning this damn book. So I actually use this. This is like I don't know what it's called. It's called a ball eraser. And you can buy these on Amazon, or you can go to your local shops, your local art shops, and they'll have these. Sometimes comic book shops that have these, like, you know, real local LCSs that have pressers. But I don't know. I never seen it in a shop. I've seen it once, like in Texas, but you can buy these at art stores and Amazon. So what I do is I lightly press and I just clean. You know, like, you don't want to press too hard. You just want to clean it and get it a little bit wider. You want to get those dark spots, because those dark spots are like actually ink when it's actually ink from other comic books that it was laying on top of when it wasn't in a board. So you can see we're actually getting somewhere right now. So I actually use a circular motion. I do that long stroke first, and then I do the circular motion all the way up. And I try to cover parts where I see there's, you know, dirt or that ink. So we took off some ink already. This is actually coming out pretty well, you know. So then you just clean it all the way to the top. So there's that watermark there. That's not going to come out. So don't even, you know, you could try. I mean, but you're going to, that thing's kind of stuck in there. You need to put it in like a chamber, like you would in a humidity chamber. And it needs to have some chemicals there. And it takes like 24 hours to 48 hours to kill that bacteria, to get that, you know, those marks out sometimes. Other guys do other processes, you know, they use, you know, other chemicals, but, you know, I don't mess with that. If I have a big book and I need to get some of those watermarks, I'd actually send it to this guy named Stan out in Riverside. He is actually worked for the Smithsonian to restore books. So he knows how to do all that, man. I'll pay him the $35 to do the magic that he does. But look, we actually got actually cleaned it up pretty well. If you notice, yeah, look, it's actually not bad. You just want to rub it down a little bit. You don't want to put too much pressure. Yeah, so we got that actually kind of white. Okay, that's not bad. Look at that compared to here. So look at that white. You can actually see it's actually got cleaned up a little bit, you know, right here. So that's good. And now we go to this edge right here and we clean that up as well. So I'm gonna use, I think that part, there we go. Put up against that border, and you want to clean. You know, you want to have a light too. I actually have a work light right next to me, so I can see what's going on. It's actually pretty bright. It's not too hot. I mean, you want to get one that's kind of cool. I got mine at IKEA. I'll show it to you guys in a few. But yeah, it's actually a work light that I got from IKEA. It actually burns yellow sometimes, the light, which it's not good. I mean, yellow, when you want to see like clarity, you want to get like a white bulb that glares out white, but you know, it does the job. I usually do this like during the day in my garage, so I have some natural light coming in, because I love natural light more than you know, a light that's coming from a light bulb, artificial light, because you get more of the color. So you guys see, look, it's not bad. It's coming out pretty good. So I just wipe that off. That's as good as this baby's gonna get. So I move on to the next. So this top part, you guys can see is super grimy. Look at that, like this the top part. Let me shine some light up here. This top part right here is super grimy. You see what we can do. You see that? You guys see the grime up there? Super grimy. You know, let's see if we can get some of this out. You know, make sure this is in the photo and the video. See if we can get this out here. So I'm gonna turn it this way. I'm gonna put this up right here. See if I can get some of this grime out of this. Yeah, see, this is probably where it was sitting nearest, closest to the humidity. So there's a lot of water damage going on over here. But I mean, we can try and get out some of the grime, but that water stuff is like sink deep into the fabrics of the paper. So that'll be difficult, but you know, like I said, when you're trying to submit this one to CGC, we're just trying to make it a little bit cleaner. You know, I'm just trying to show you my process and how I do things. And like, you know, like every presser has their own thing. Every presser does their own style, has their own style. Every presser argues about like their style and how their style is best, and you know, how you're doing it wrong or whatever. I know a lot of you pressers gonna be like, yo man, Hood Rat is doing it all wrong. But you know what, man? You know, be you. That's my motto in life. Just be you, because I'm always gonna be me. And if I get if my process gets me a 9.8, 9 times out of 10, of course, I'm gonna keep doing it. So I use the second part right here because it helps me give a border. So you see that Lucky Products Inc. 1981. I don't want to touch that at all, you know. So I'm going to put a border there so I can just clean the area that needs to be cleaned. All right. And like I said again, like, you know, every presser has their own thing. You know, you just got to have your own thing. Like you develop, you look at, you know, you talk to other pressers that want to give up some of their magic. A lot of pressers don't. You know, they don't even want to tell you what paper they use. You know, like to put in between the you know, the pages, or the, you know, in between the, you know, what weight did they put between the cover and the first page and the last, and the back page, the back cover and the last page. You know, I mean, to each their own. But you know, I don't mind sharing the magic. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm doing this. So, you know, it's always cool to say, you know, share the good things in life with others, so that other people can be happy. Because if people are happy and content, we have a better world, y'all. But check that out, man. So that's coming out clean. That came out pretty clean. I don't know about the top page. You know, that one grimy page. I don't know if we're gonna get any of that out. That looks more like water damage, and I ain't trying to like get too deep into that, and when it's not really gonna matter. You know, I just want to fight the battles that have purpose, and that one doesn't have purpose to battle with, because you got to be one of those chemists to get that water stuff out, those watermarks. But you see how I do it? Like we are making actual strides. You know, there's some strides going on in this book. So maybe I'll submit it to CGC. No, This book will probably be like a 7.0, and it's not worth my time. It's not worth an investment, but it is worth, you know, worth a challenge for, because that's what I like to do, man. You challenge me, I'll have some fun and we'll win together. You know what I'm saying? So look, there we go. So we got, here we go. Let's see what we got here, guys. Yeah, it came out a lot better than it was, if you guys can notice. I like it. So let's check this out. So let's check out that white border. So you see those white borders right there. Check that out. And that's all we're going to clean on this book. Just an example of how to clean a book with that dry eraser that you can get on Amazon, or you can get at your local art supply store, and support the community. Yeah, there you go. All right, guys, that's the back page. I think that's enough cleaning. Let's clean off my workspace here. Okay, you always want to have a clean workspace. You want to be organized. And let's get this baby into this. Before we get in the humidity chamber, let's clean off the grime. Like, clean off all whatever dirt may be on it, whatever dirt may be on the cover, or whatever dirt may be on the back page, on the back cover. All right, guys. So we're going to use. Let me see here. We're going to use this. It's called. Let me see. Is that upside down for y'all? No, that's good, huh? Abserine. So it's a paper and book and paper wallpaper cleaner. So it just takes off dirt, smoke, and whatever smoke film. You can see it right here, dirt, smoke, and film. It is, yeah, you could do it. I mean, it's made for ceiling tiles or whatever. We'll use it for comic books. I actually got this advice from John over at Bronze and Modern Gauze. He did a pressing video, and I checked that out, and I was like, yo, man, that's a pretty good damn idea there, John. I am going to apply that to my style of pressing. So thank you, John. I think I gave you props in the beginning, man. And all the guys that I looked at videos from, their links are in the whatever, the description of this video. So all it is clay. So check that out, it's clay. All it is clay right there. And I actually have one right here that I took out, and you can see it's just clay. And what you want to do is you want to try to get it into like a small hot dog, right? I'm gonna get this thing into a hot dog right here. Put that there, looks a lot better. And then you just want to roll it on top of your books and try to take off that grime, because the grime will actually stick to this little clay ball like a magnet, and it'll actually take off a lot of those eraser, you know, those from the dry eraser that we just used. It'll take some of that grime off too that may have been left. But you want to have a clean book, because like I said before, dirt is not good for your books. If it's on top, it'll make an indentation that goes inward towards the pages, and if it's on the inside, it'll make indentures towards indentures moving out on your cover, and that's never good, because you're going to have to rehumidify your book sometimes, and then you're going to have to repress it, and you have to cold press it for another, you know, whatever, 6-8 hours or whatever, however long you do in cold pressing. And if you only have one press, that's a lot of time and energy that could be put towards pressing another book. So, you know, just to be efficient, you want to make sure everything is right before you humidify your book and before you put it inside the press. So you guys can see I'm rolling it out as much as possible. You can see there's all this grime right here. You can see some of that eraser mark stuff, you know, that dry eraser stuff. And I like to do it like a few times. I like to roll it up, you know. I want to make sure that it's clean. And I'm not going to, you know, clean it off with my rag, because my rag might have some dirt. I want to leave that as far as possible. I should have done that before I started rolling this up on this book. But yeah, you just want to do things right, man, because you know, time is money. You know, time is money, and time is our most essential resource in life. You can have all the money in the world, but you can't buy back time. So, you know, you want to make sure your time's worth it when you when you press a book. So yep, look, that is clean. I'm gonna do the back page now. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna try and redo it. Try to put all that inside, that grime that's on the outside of the little ball that I created goes on the inside, and that the outside's clean. You want to try and makes life a little easier, and then clean off the top before you roll it out. So you get this right here, and then you just start rolling. Maybe roll it out twice, 3 times on the top of the cover. And my thing is, if it creates a little wave or whatever on the book, because I'm rolling it too hard, I'm gonna take it out anyway, because we're about to humidify this baby. This is like the last process before we stick it in a humidity chamber. I think we're good, guys. So so that's it. So that we cleaned the book. We cleaned the book. There we go. We cleaned this book. And now we're gonna put it in a humidity chamber. All right, guys. So the water I use to put in the humidity chamber is actually distilled water. And the reason why you want to use distilled water, in my opinion, is that it's way softer than the water you would get out of the faucet. The water you get in the faucet is actually super heavy, and if it gets into your book, it'll make the front cover super heavy, and that's what creates waves. And this stuff right here will actually is super soft on your book, and it'll, I think, in my opinion, dries a lot faster, and it actually makes your inside your inside pages whiter, and if it's off color, and you saw the pages in there are kind of creamed out, so I'm hoping that I can make it a little bit whiter. But what I do is I just try to fill, these are what I put in the humidity chamber right here. I try to fill these in to about 2/3, a little bit above 2/3 each, and then I pour it into the kettle. Then I warm up the kettle, and then I will take these and I will put these in the humidity chamber. So this is my humidity chamber. It's in a old wine cooler I found at a garage store, about $5. I was talking to Al over from Spinetix a while back. We're talking about humidity chambers, and he said he had one of these and it worked pretty well. And I looked for one for a long time, found one at the garage sale for super cheap, and I picked it up. But this is how I set up my my humidity chamber. First, you got to open the door, right? So you see there's 2 shelves. I actually put the water down here on the bottom shelf, okay? And then I put these old boards on the top because I don't want water dripping down on my books, So I put these on the top right here. And then I put this on the bottom, which is gonna have my book. And I'm gonna have this here with a small rag on the bottom, and I'm gonna have my book on top of that. So we have the hot water goes down here, the books go here, and then this is to protect it from having a drippage on my books. So that's kind of how I set that up. And the one thing I do is that I warm it up first. I put my water in there first, my hot water first, so you can create all that that humidity in there, that wetness. I let it warm up first, and then I put my books in about maybe 10 minutes after I put in that water. I know if I open this up, a lot of humidity is gonna come out, but that's a lot of that heavy humidity. I really don't want that. I wanna leave my books in there for a while. So I kind of let that out, put that in real fast, then close it while it's still warm, and watch my books humidify. That's kind of how I do it. So let's get the books, guys. All right, guys, this is what I use to put my comic book on. I think these are, who did I get this from? I think I got this idea from Reggie Collects video. It's over there in the description, his video. So you guys can have I just like to provide all those videos so you guys have a number of videos you can watch and create your, try to intertwine all those styles into your style, and then add your own mix to it, because why reinvent the wheel, right? So yeah, I don't know what these are called. You can get these at Home Depot, but these are what you put on the ceiling. of like inside your homes, you know, as a ceiling. So you might want to go on a ceiling. I forgot where I got it, but they come in these big old like whatever 10 by 10 lots, and then you just got to cut them up, and you know, you cut them up right here around. You know, you put your bag and board there and cut them around. But anyways, you can find them at Home Depot. So I use this, and then I'll put an old bag and board, old board on it, and then I'll take this rag and I'll actually turn it this way because that's kind of how I do it. And then I will put this rag here to avoid any too much moisture on the back cover, and I will do that, make it nice and pretty, and then I will put the book right on top, and voila, that's what goes in the humidity chamber. The book goes in like that. All right, I got my book right here. It's all ready and set like we had planned, and now I am going to put it in here really quick because you can see that humidity coming out. And I'm going to leave this in here for about 4 hours. I was recommending that you leave like these, you know, bronze and copper books in there for about 2 to 2.5 hours. I'm going to do 4 hours because I'm going to try and see if it affects the color of the inside pages, because they're cream right now when I get them off white, just to do it. All right, guys, so 4 hours is up. I opened the door already. You can see, I want to show you guys all the humidity against the window. Yeah, this book has been marinating for a bit now. So let's pull this baby out. Yeah, you can see that it is wet. You know, it is wet. So let's go up and down this thing. This book is damp, which is good. It's good damp. Not too damp, not too wet, not too dry. So let's see what we can do with it, guys. All right, guys, so we got a damp book here. So you can tell it's damp by you see that warping right there. That's how you know it's ready to be cooked, man. And it's damp on the inside. I mean, honestly, I would have left this in overnight. You know, I did with John over on Bronze and Modern Gods did, and left books overnight, and it actually whitened out some of the pages. But no, this is perfect. If it was in there for 4 hours, exactly 4 hours. So let's get to it, man. So I'm gonna show you what I do on how to stuff this thing, and what I'll do to prep it for the press. So what I do is I have these cutouts right here. So you see these cutouts? So I have a ton of these cutouts that I actually use. I have a ton of these because I like to recycle these things. And you know, you can reuse these. You know, I reuse them. So what I do is I go to the middle of this book and I look for the staples. Let me see if I can find that here. Close, nope. Go a little bit more this way. There it is. There they go. So you see the staples right there, guys? See the staples? So what I do is I just put this right here, give a little spacing, and you want to do this so the staples don't go through the book, you know, and show up on your cover and your back page. And I just close it, and then what I do, some guys do this, some guys don't, but I like to do it. I have this special paper here. It's weighted paper. As you can see, it's not like regular paper. It's actually kind of floppy, you know, it's actually kind of floppy paper, but it's weighted. It's a little bit more heavier than regular paper. I forgot the weight. It'll come to me, but I'll let y'all know. I'm not going to keep that a secret. And what I do is just open this book and I do the back page first. So I do the back page. You see, that's nice. That's nice and damp. That's the damp that I like to be. Not too much and not less. So I put that right there in the middle of the spine. Make sure it's all nice and tugged. Look at the other side. Make sure it's nice and clean. Wiggle it off, and I put it here. And that's what you call stuffing the book. So this is a a copper age book. With modern books, there's going to be a that code that you use to read the books online. And you have to, there's another way of doing that, but I put some links in the description to if you guys are pressing modern books, and those will give good examples. This one's just a quick example of how I do this. So next we get to the prepping. And this right here is the iron I use. Get any iron that works for you. It doesn't have to be this iron. It's just an extra iron we had at the house because my wife bought one that doesn't need a cord, and I was like, let me use that. Let me try that with my with my books. and it actually works because I was able to dial it in. I practiced on a bunch of different books on iron them, because what I do is I prep my books before I put them into the presser by iron out like trouble spots. With this one, with this book, I'm gonna probably have to iron the entire book. But I had this kind of set right here. I put it right in the middle between these two dots and that dot, and it works well. It doesn't burn my books or anything. I actually put like cookie paper over my books while I'm ironing. I don't just put it right on the book. You know, you have to have a buffer, and that helps. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to prep your book for the press, and trying to get it, you know, get some kinks out before you do it, so your press can work out the rest. But this iron has worked for me well, and it's an old iron. I think we had this iron for like, say, a good 10 years, you know. And then we got like the new fancy dancy one that doesn't have a plug. My wife was like, just take it, do whatever you want. I was like, okay. And it does a trick for me, you know. Like, it takes out that crazy like a polybag line that goes in, you know, that goes on those UF4s, and I have a couple 9.8s of those, and you know, it does the job, man. It does the job. And me and this iron were good. But there's other irons you can get. You can get those artist irons. Those little small ones are like super small, and you can, you know, do that. But I like this because I can actually put pressure. You know, I can pressure out books. You don't want to apply too much pressure, but sometimes, I mean, I'm a pretty aggressive presser. And output pressure. I mean, that's just me. But you know, you do you, and do some practice, and use whatever you need to get that high grade. All right, guys. So I turned it to the side because I'm going to prep this up by ironing this book out, and iron out some of the kinks, and trying to make a little bit of this a little bit straighter. You know, a little bit more flat for the press. But what I use, so I have my iron. You guys saw my iron before. Bam, my iron. But I also use this cookie baking sheet right here. So this cookie baking sheet right here will help protect this book from the immense heat the heat that's coming out of there. It's not immense, but it'll protect it, and you don't want to just iron it out flatly on the book. You know, you want to have some buffering. And you can actually buy this. It's right here. It says Reynolds Kitchens baking sheets. Al over there at Spinetix gave me this recommendation. There we go, on buying this one. So it's been working for me ever since. So what I do is I put it right here. I put the sheet right there. I get my iron, and I lightly put pressure to the spine right here. And so you remember, you want to have your books stuffed and ready to go for the press. And you want to put those you know, the paper, those weighted paper as close to the spine as you can. So I just do that maybe like 2 or 3 times. You know, look, it's already flatter. And I do the edges, you know. Usually I'm just doing the edges. I'm not trying to do the whole book. I'm just trying to do the edges. I'm trying to get the edges flat. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get these edges flat here. Okay, that's enough for that. You can feel the heat actually on the paper right there. All right, so I'll spin it this way, because I want it facing me, because that's where I can apply the pressure and have a little bit more control on the pressure. All right, let's put that here. And we're going to hold this tight right here. We are going to get this prepped. So you can see I'm only going one way because I don't want it to snag that way. I'm kind of just going up on the book. You can do it any way you want, but that way works for me, you know. So see, I'm prepping this. All right, then I just go to this other end right here, put that here for you guys can see, and I will push this out towards the edge of the corner that's away from the spine. But you can do this too, you know. So it actually works. Whatever works for you, you know, whatever works for you, do you, you know. But this is what I do to prep my books before I stick it in the press. All right, so that's enough for the spine, or the cover, the front cover. Let's flip it, and you can see here. Oh, that's good. I think we got it at a really good dampness level that I'm seeing here. I like it a lot. All right, let's iron this part out right here, put some pressure here, Boom, boom, boom. There you go. All right, we're doing some good work here. All right. Like I said, a lot of people are going to disagree with me on using irons as for prep work, but that's where you actually get, like, if you're really trying to get a good grade on a book and there's some trouble spots, you can actually focus on those trouble spots with your iron and prepping it for the press. All right. This iron has worked magic for me in the past. So this is just an example of what I do. Okay. All right. And like, I do this on modern books too, you know, and a lot of people are like, don't do it on modern books. You're going to melt the pages. You're going to melt that cover and you melt the pages together. But if you stuff it correctly, if you stuff the book correctly with, you know, heavier weighted paper at the exact, you know, weight that you need it, so it doesn't, like, the heat doesn't spill over to the other pages, then you're good. You're good, my man. So here we go. Okay, we're gonna, all right, got that going. Okay, let's flip this over here. All right, and one last time for the top. Take it from the top, take it from the top. All right. Okay. All right, I think we got a book that's ready for the press. Look, it kind of actually flattens some of the parts out there. So, so what I do before I put it in the press is, this is actually what I'm going to put on the bottom of the book, and I'm going to put all this in the press at the same time. So you see that? There you go. So that book is ready to go. All right, guys, we're all set up and ready to go. We got the book prepped. I got the book here, got the book stuffed, and we got it. We got this right here to put the book on top of. Or no, this is actually going to go on the top. So we're going to open this up. We actually have a board right here, a magazine board, and we're going to put the book on top of the board right here. Okay, and we're going to put the spine towards the back of the press. Okay, and then we're going to grab this magazine board and put this on the top. All right, because you want it to be nice and flat. This creates some flatness in the. This is a pretty heavy cardstock. These magazine boards, it's going to create some flatness that'll help and get this book flat. So we're going to get the cookie sheet paper and put it on the top, and then we are going to grab this sheet metal that you can get over at Home Depot and put this on top of it to even help things be more flat and to control the heat, because the heat actually travels through this and travels through the bottom of the bottom sheet metal and keeps everything all nice, warm and snug during the cold press. And that's why you don't really need to press this for too long, because this conveys the heat for a lot longer than most things, and it'll help keep that book nice and hot and cooking for even after you turn off the press. So let's put this down, make sure the torque is good, and everybody. So it's all about feel. That torque is good. It's all about feel right here. This is how you control the torque, and the torque on how this book is, how much pressure is being put on this book, and it actually feels good. And I mean, it's all about feel with the torque. You get used to it. You have to just practice and practice and practice again on pressing books to get the right feel and the right torque that feels right. And then you just turn this on, and boom, it's going to go to 145 degrees. And that's what I cook my bronze and copper and silver at, and I do that for 300 seconds once it hits 145 degrees. All right, so with this press, you can see we're at 113, 115. We're getting up there. It gets to 145 pretty quick. All right, so we're gonna wait till it gets to 145, and I'm gonna show you how I work this press. So we are at 130. Okay, 131. All right, almost there, guys. 38, 39, 40, and we are at 140. Okay, here we go. You're gonna hear a beep, We are at 145, and we're gonna cook this for 5 minutes. So there's my timer, and I'm gonna get you guys back when we're at around 10 seconds, okay? All right, guys, we're almost down to 30 seconds. I want to explain what's going on. So what's happening is that when we humidified the book, we softened all the fibers, and now right now we're reforming the fibers with the heat, and that's going to reform the fibers to be what we want it to be, which is nice and flat on that cover and on the back cover. Okay, and also the most important part is the cold press, because the cold press actually solidifies that new form that the book is making. Okay, so we're at 0, and all I do is turn it off. A lot of people like to unplug it. I don't need to unplug it. I know it's off. So I don't unplug it. I just leave it as is, and I go off and do my business. But what's happening now, even though it's only cooked for 5 minutes, it's going to cook for another hour, because this all stays warm right here, and these metal plates all stay warm also. And all that heat is just kind of like being pressurized into that book, solidifying the new structure of that fiber, that new DNA that's going on that book to make it nice and flat. I'm gonna leave this in the cold press for about overnight, so that should be like around 12 hours. Okay, so right now is about let's say right now it's about 6 o'clock. So 6 plus 6 is 6. So that's 6 hours to 12 o'clock. I'm gonna probably take this out around 8. So it's gonna be sitting in here for 12 hours or 14 hours. All right, so it's gonna sit in here about 14 hours. I am not afraid to cold press a book for 14 hours. I'm not even scared to cold press a book for like 2 days if I need to, because I really believe that cold pressing is the most important part of pressing. It's not the heat. The heat is important, and so is the humidifying, but the cold press is what creates a whole new DNA in this book, for that flatness to stay there, to stay long enough so when you send it to CGC that it's still flat and the waves are gone, because sometimes those waves and those lines will come back, and you have to cold press that thing to make sure that it stays that way, that this newly formed book, this newly formed DNA, the newly formed fabrics will stick. All right, guys, so we'll be back when I pull this book out of the cold press tomorrow around like 8 o'clock in the morning. All right, y'all, we're back at it again. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning over here in California. This book has been in this cold pressing for about 12 hours. Nice and cold, man. Let's check it out. Let's open it up and see what we got. Ooh, not bad, not bad. Made some strides here. Made some strides. Ooh, way flatter than it was. Let's put this on the big camera. All right, guys. So here is the book. I just took out the press. I actually flipped it and kept it in the press. I think I kept this in the. I cold pressed this actually for a while. It needed a real deep cold press, so I cold pressed it for about 12 to 14 hours, I think. And let's see. A lot of people will be like, yeah, that's too long to cold press the book, but let's see how the pages are. So let me turn this around and see what the magic. And as you can see, this looks like a very presentable book now. A lot of the waves are gone. I'm going to take all the stuffing out. Let me take all the stuffing out so you guys can properly see this book. Make sure this book's in the camera right here. Take out that page, take out that page, and take out the final page. All right, let's see what we got here. So, wow, this book actually came out pretty decent. So let's scan this book here. So let me put the light here so you guys can properly see. So here we go on that edge. Came out pretty good. A lot of the waves were gone. Like I said, I cold pressed this for about 12 hours on each side on average. Compared to what it was, it is very presentable now. All right. Okay, you guys can see that. Let me get the light going. All right. We're going to, you know what I always do? I always try to put that little spotlight on it so you can see what's going on. Let me see if I can get the whole book in there for you guys. Let's start all over again. All right. Not bad, not bad. It came out pretty presentable.
Look at that. From what it was, it is a way better presentable book. Took a lot of those wet waves out of there. I think they were, see, there's still some in there, but it's way better than what it was. I don't think, I'm not going to really work to correct that because I'm not actually trying to grade this book. I'm just up for the challenge to make it a little bit more presentable. All right, let's check the back. And I will put the pictures of this compared to what it was for you guys at the end of the video. But yeah, this is the book, and it came out pretty decent. Not bad. Let me check it with my eyes. Yep, there is. Came out pretty good, and there are still some flaws, but those flaws, if you're just trying to get it presentable, it's not that bad, you know. I mean, I'm not going to send this book to getting graded. I mean, if I was to send it to get graded, probably a 6.5 to a 7 at best, you know, but not bad. So yeah, that's the book, guys. I'm gonna let this dry for about 48 hours. I usually like to, I mean, it doesn't look like it's wet anymore, but it is. There's still some moisture in this book, and you really want to let it sit for a while on a flat surface for about 24 to 48 hours. It depends on you. I do about 48 hours, and then I put in a bag and board, and either I get it ready to ship to CGC, or I'm just gonna take a picture and present it for you guys as the challenge. I think the challenge has been met. But check out the pictures, guys, and here are the side-by-side pictures of this book. All right, guys, talk to you later.
All right, y'all, so that's my style of pressing. Like I said, my style is not the end all. I think nobody's style is the end all. You just do a style that works for you and gets you the 9.8s, because a 9.8 is a 9.8. If you're using your 100 books to squish that book into a flat book and you get a 9.8, hey man, that's a 9.8, and no one can take that away from you. You know what I'm saying? If you could bump a 5.0 into an 8.5, hey, that style is working for you. So, I mean, the press I use, a lot of people are like, hey, that's a cheap press from Amazon. But yo, that's my style and it works for me, you know, and I'm not a professional. I'm just pressing my own books, you know. But there are a lot of other presses out there, and there's a lot of other presses that people use. Check them out. My best advice is watch the videos below. I put all the links. Go and ask some friends that have been pressing for a while, and try and get some advice from them. Let's not all keep it a secret, you know, the pressing magic. Because, you know, as a collector, you will save a lot of money learning how to press. I think my machine right there, the machine I used, the pressing machine cost me about $135. It paid itself in full, plus with the first 9.8 that I got. So it's definitely a good skill to have, and it'll definitely make you a better collector, and it'll definitely give you the skills to see what a book needs to reach its highest potential. But again, I want to thank y'all for watching. I want to thank you, my boy Iwikimda, for the challenge. And just check out, before we go, I'm going to wrap it up by showing y'all again the two books side by side. And y'all tell me if I did a good job, and what grade would you give the Just Press book? Because I'm hood rat, you hood rat, and what? We all hood rats.